Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We will go ahead and take a few minutes here before we get started. All right, we'll give it about one more minute as we have people in. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being with us today. We have been maybe about 2 months, since we last met. So just want to appreciate your time taking it after, I'm sure, a long day of work and being with us to get some updates, hear some information, and hopefully ask some questions as well. The next two slides will walk us through some accessibility options here. If you need interpretation, you can select the icons at the bottom of your screen to make sure you are accessing those. We have interpreters in Chinese, Vietnamese, Russian, and Spanish. So we'll give it a second for folks to go into their channels, and then I'll ask our interpreters also, our Chinese interpreter, you can go onto the channel, and I think all others are there. If you are joining us on Facebook, we do ask that you join us at the Zoom link to make sure that you have access to the channels. And for our speakers, this is just a reminder of those who are with us to make sure to be mindful of your pace. And on the next page here, we have, this is the question and answer feature. So if you haven't been with us before, welcome. You are able to ask questions through the question and answer feature. You see it at the bottom of your screen, whether you're on phone or a computer, and it's an icon that looks like two little message bubbles. Once you click that, you can ask questions, and we have our great facilitator, Ronnie, who will help us read through those questions, kind of sort through those questions as we go through different topics. All right, and then here's the agenda. Katrina, would you mind?
Sure. This is the agenda for this evening. We will start off with the 2024 market price and supply study, an update and information about that. And then I will share some information about the Early Childhood Suspension and Expulsion Prevention Program. I want to try to answer some frequently asked questions, and then some agency and program updates.
Thank you so much. Sometimes you have to improvise because the dogs decide to bark. So we'll kind of give some information here to get us going first. This is a super um, brief introduction, but Megan, I believe we have you with us. So if you're open to, we'd love to have you jump in and just quickly introduce yourself. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Megan Pratt. I'm a professor of practice at Oregon State University, and I'm going to launch us off here. Is Mitchell here as well to do his part? Just wanted to confirm. I can't see the full participant list. But I'm here to launch us off to talk a little bit about and invite you to participate in the market price and supply study. This might be a familiar to you. Um, at Oregon State, we are the group that helps put the numbers into the report and the work, and with the goal of getting to the state decision makers about what needs to happen to support you all. This study is done every 2 years, and it's done across the state. The study is conducted by your local child care resource and referral in partnership with the Research Institute and Western Oregon University, who is going to take it up from here, as well. And then at OSU, we do the data work, and then the information goes into the reports that go back out to decision makers at local levels, as well as to our state agency and to DELC, the Department of Early Learning and Care. You'll be contacted to verify your rates that you charge and about your capacity for the program. This information is going to be used in many ways. It's used in local and state policymaking to ensure families have equal access to care. It's also used and as a very important part of setting the employment-related daycare subsidy program subsidy rates, and to really understand what families are experiencing when they go into and trying to find childcare in the market in terms of both availability and the price. The we'll say this a couple times, but just as a reminder, this rate information or information that you all share is not shared with parents and is combined with other programs in any of the reporting that happens. So this is very much to get a big picture of where things are at with the state. So I'll transition now to Mitchell. Thank you.
I always forget to unmute. Um, the information that you're going to provide for the market price study is not shared with families. It is just information that'll go into FCCO, and then it's compiled with all the other providers in your region. This gives us a good idea of the price and supply of childcare in each county and in each region. Also lets you to see what other providers in your area are charging, but it's not information we're sharing with parents, and it'll all stay private. And then I think we have one more slide about how to participate in the study. There we go. So there's a few ways to participate. On October 1st and October 15th, we're sending out emails. They'll be like the PIF email that you get from FCCO. There'll be a few changes to the provider portal just to make sure it's focusing on the market price study and the information we need, but it'll be very similar to the normal updates you do. We're also launching a new feature where we're able to text you your PIFs as well. So you'll receive a text message that has a link to the provider portal where you can also just straight on your phone, fill it out and update your information. You can also always call your regional CCRNRs, just call them up, let them know that you want to update your information for the NPSS, excuse me, and they'll be happy to help you with that. And if you run into technical issues trying to log on and that sort of stuff, or just have questions about it, they can always answer that as well. We're also sending out mailers at least once during the study. They'll have a QR code on it that you can scan and take you right to our um, provider site for FCCO, and that'll give you more information. Also take you to where you can go to the provider portal as well. And yeah, any questions about the process or how to participate or what your information is used for?
Hi, Mitchell. This is Ronnie. We have a question in the Q&A box that says, have you surveyed licensed providers to see how many vacancies they have and have not been able to fill yet?
That isn't part of this study. This study, we're looking at desired capacity specifically. Currently, we don't record vacancies within FCCO just because that's a number that's always in flux. And one day it could be this number, the next day it could be this. So we're just trying to get that like snapshot of how many excuse me, children you'd want in your program at one time.
Thank you. I don't see any other questions in the, oh, wait. Will our rates be shared with other sites or just within the study?
Just within the study. They'll be in Find Childcare Oregon because that's where we store it. But that is not going to any other organizations, any other sites, anything like that. If we use that data, we send that over to OSU and then they compile it, put it all together in a way that there's no identifying information. So your rates will be guarded safely.
Thank you. That was a great question. At this time, I don't see any other questions in the Q&A for that. So Katrina, we're ready.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. Go ahead, Katrina. On to the next subject. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. It is good to be back with you. I've joined the provider information sessions periodically over the last couple of years. And I am excited to be here to share some of the more recent developments and to try to answer some questions. We know that people have a lot of questions about this program. So these are the things I'm going to address. So what is the Early Childhood Suspension and Expulsion Prevention Program? What is the warm line and how will it work? And frequently asked questions. So the program, the Early Childhood Suspension and Expulsion Prevention Program, is a program to increase supports that are available to educators and early learning programs. You've been telling us, we've been hearing you that there's a need for more supports. And we've been hearing you say that there are a lot of challenging situations with children that come up. So this program is being designed specifically to provide more support when you have a challenging situation with a child in your care. So, so I hope that brings some hope. We've been hearing you about the need for more. So we are creating a simple way to ask for support. We're creating access to a new type of support service, a support service that has only been available in very few areas in the state, called Infant and Early Childhood Mental Health Consultation. And the program will enhance coordination between organizations that provide support to you, so that you don't have multiple different people coming at the same time or telling you different things. The goal is to increase that coordination, and so that you don't have to be the one trying to coordinate it yourself. So the warm line, this is something that people have had a lot of questions about. The warm line, the The word warm line makes people think about a phone line, a place that you call, and it is actually not a place that you call. It will, at least not initially. We may, Delk may be able to find a way to add a phone line, but to start with, it is going to be a place that you can request support online. It'll be very simple. We'll ask for your contact information, a little tiny bit about what you're concerned about. We'll ask for your contact information, and we will ask, what is the best time to give you a call back? So that's step one. Very simple. We're going to make sure that the link to the warm line will be available in multiple places so that it's easy to find. So step two, within 1 to 2 business days, a technical assistance provider, that means a coach or a consultant, possibly somebody at the CCR&R, or a consultant, a mental health consultant, from the state or the local region will call you back to gather more information. So they're going to learn more about what's happening for you. So step 3, the request for support is assigned to someone, a technical assistance provider or the mental health consultant. And then that person provides ongoing support on site to you and your program for a period of 3 to 9 months, depending on kind of what the factors are, what it takes to help resolve the situation. So you see this little asterisk here. There are still some decisions, some formal decisions that need to be made. So for example, the 1 to 2 business days and the 3 to 9 months, the amount of time, those decisions have not been officially written down, but this is what we are expecting at this point. So frequently asked questions. We have heard a lot of a sense of a lot of worry and fear about what this program will mean for you. And we know that the prohibition on using suspension or expulsion creates so many questions, so much fear. These are just a few of the questions, but we wanted to share this information this evening. So what will happen if a child's parent or family member is abusive or unsafe toward educators? Well, the focus of the program is providing support to you. So if a family member, a parent or family member, is treating you in a way that you feel unsafe, this program is not about requiring you to feel unsafe in your own program. The focus is on preventing suspension and expulsion based on the child's behaviors, disability, or other perceived needs. The focus is on oh, I think I have that there twice. So it is not about requiring you to serve a child at all costs. This is another question. What will happen to programs if the parent or family does not pay their bill? Well, again, I'm going to say it again, the goal of the program is to provide support to you so that you can support children and families. The intention is not to require programs to provide care when you're not paid. You will be allowed to unenroll a child without it being considered an expulsion if the parent or family is not paying their bill. Another question: what will happen if an educator wants to ask for support, but the parent or family do not agree? I know this is a concern that a lot of educators have. So again, I'm going to go back to the goal is to support you, the educator. So there are some types of services that do require parental consent, but there are other services that don't. So we encourage you to ask for support at any time that you, as the educator, are feeling a need for support. The other thing that will happen or that is available to you is that someone, if you are not sure how to have the conversation with the parent about the need for requesting extra support, you can get assistance in thinking through how to have that conversation. And that person that gives you the call back after you make the warm line request, that first person will help you determine what is the best service that meets the needs of the situation. Another question, what will happen if an early learning program suspends or expels a child without seeking help from the program? So again, remember, I'm going to repeat it again. The intent of the program is to provide support. We are not in the business of trying to shut programs down. We know there are some very challenging situations. So the intent is to support you. So the Child Care Licensing Division will address violations of the rule by first ensuring you do have access to supports. So we're going to provide more support. If you find yourself in a situation where a child has been expelled, we're going to offer more support. The Child Care Licensing Division will use the same progressive enforcement strategy used for other non-serious licensing violations. So it's the same system that you're already familiar with, where nobody wants a licensing violation, but receiving a licensing violation is not the same as shutting down the program. Violations of the suspension and expulsion rules will be addressed as non-serious, which means first-time violations can be addressed through technical assistance and education. So again, providing more support. What will happen if a new child comes to an early learning program and the educator or program doesn't think they can support the child? So anytime that you feel worried that you can't support a child, whether they are new to your program or not, submit a warm line request for support. It is okay to submit a warm line request, even if the child has not yet started in your care, if you have reason to believe that there's going to be a need for support right from the beginning. If you hear from a family that a child has been expelled at a previous center, even if they're not supposed to be expelled, but if you hear that, or if you hear that there have been challenging situations with the child, contact us right away with the warm line so that we can get in there and partner with you right from the start. So a few accomplishments that I want to share. We have the program has an advisory committee. The advisory committee meets monthly and provides feedback on important parts of the program as it is being developed. The committee has about 17 people, and the committee members represent family childcare, center-based childcare, family members, Head Start, technical assistance providers, CCR&Rs, early learning hubs, other advocates, and other early learning system leaders. So we tried to get a pretty comprehensive, wide representation. And I'm not sure if I mentioned the very first one on the list, family members. Parents are also represented. Another accomplishment that has started and is ongoing is expansion of supports with through the pyramid model. So DELC has sponsored a trainer events to expand the number of pyramid model trainings that are, pyramid model trainers that are available in each region. So we know that in every region, there's at least one or multiple people who are able to provide training in the pyramid model. We are also partnering with ODE to support the inclusion initiative at ELSI to further expand supports with pyramid model. Another accomplishment, we have some organizations, we're calling them regional service providers, and we have 14 organizations in 13 regions of the state who have received funding. So they have grants in place. These organizations will hire infant and early childhood mental health consultants. And then those consultants will provide consultation services to you. So all regions, well, let me back up. So we have organizations in 13 regions. There are 2 more regions to go where we don't have a regional service provider yet, but we're still working towards getting organizations on board, and we'll have before long we'll have representation across all regions of the state. So all of the regions that currently do have a planning grant, do have a grant, are in a planning phase. So services have not yet started. This is a new service in most areas of the state, and there is a learning curve for these organizations. And we want to give enough time for the learning curve so that when the service starts, these consultants are ready to go out into the community and support you. One other thing is we have an organization which we call the central entity. So DELC has contracted with the Oregon Infant Mental Health Association. For short, that is OREMHA. They are the central entity, and they are providing support to the regional service providers as they get ready to provide mental health consultation. They will be offering communities of practice and trainings about the content of mental health consultation and the practice of mental health consultation. And they are working on strengthening workforce pathways to expand the mental health consultation workforce. What is coming next? Well, one of the next things is that the regional service providers will begin providing mental health consultation services. The timeline is different in every region. So each region has an individualized plan as to how they are progressing. But in the next 3 to 12 months, the services will start. The warm line, which I started off talking about, is also in development. So it is not ready yet. There is the form. I've seen a draft of the form, but there are some technology issues that we need to work through. The DELC IT team is closely involved with this as we create the system for this. It is expected to be available by July of 2025, next year. And I think that is my last slide. So let me see if there are some questions.
Hi, Katrina. I can pitch these to you.
Okay.
I have a lot of great questions. You're going to enjoy these. So let's start off. Will the warm line be available to Head Start programs and Preschool Promise programs as well?
It will. Yes.
Okay.
So remember the behind the scenes, once that request comes in, there will be coordination at that regional level to decide who is the right person to respond. So it could be the Preschool Promise coach. It could be somebody who works in Head Start already, but yes, the warm line will be available.
Great. And is there a cost to use this support program?
No, there's no cost.
Okay. And is there a way for providers to still request that support instead of having to try to convince the parents that their child needs an assessment?
Um, Sorry, can you say that question one more time?
So is there, let me read it directly. Is there a way that we as providers can request help versus us trying to convince the parents that their child possibly needs an assessment?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Ronnie, for repeating that. Yes. So providers can request support anytime that they feel a need for support. You do not have to have the parent's permission to make the initial request. There are some services that will only be available with the parent's agreement, but there are other services that are available without. So it is okay to request support at any time. And somebody who talks with you as the provider will help you think about what is the appropriate level, what is the support that you need in this situation with this particular child.
Thank you. Will parents have access to any of the reports or the warm line requests that providers make?
That's a very good question. That is so I don't know for sure. I think they probably not, because we do not want there to be any penalty to the program for requesting support. We want you to request support. And for confidentiality reasons, we don't want that information just out in the public for anybody to access. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The last one, is there, no, the last one around the warm line. Is there a way for providers to access any past warm line submissions on a specific child or family?
No, we won't be able to do that for confidentiality reasons. Um, but the thing to know is that if you have questions or need support related to a child, you don't need to necessarily have access to that to be able to request support. And then the support will be tailored to what your individual situation is.
Okay. Thank you. Now, about the pyramid trainers that you were talking about, how do they find out where training is in their area or who the trainers are in their area for this training?
Great question. So I would suggest contacting your local CCR&R. And most of them should have a trainer. If they don't, they can probably help you find someone. If you work in a Head Start program, check with your program and to see if your program has a trainer in-house or if they can contract with somebody.
Okay. And they may be posting those on the oral training calendar as well, so that
Yes.
you can stalk that site is always a good thing to do.
Yes, great idea.
Let's look at this. As part of these supports that are coming out for this topic, are any of them involving helping to provide more staff in programs if it's needed?
Good question. There is so yes and no. we are working on a plan where you'd be able to access the sub pool, the substitute pool, to help provide additional support when needed. So that is still in its developmental process. So stay tuned, more information to come over time. I know sometimes you really need another person. And I guess I can say we're very aware of that and continue to think about how to support that.
Thank you, Katrina. Let's see. How will violations be monitored?
They will be monitored in the same way that other violations are monitored. So if your licensing specialist is visiting, or if we hear from a parent that their child has been expelled, we may find out through that information. I think we're going to learn along the way. But there isn't an additional system beyond the current way that violations are monitored.
Okay, thank you. Is there a limit to how many students in a given classroom or a program can have requests through the warm line?
That's a great question. What I would say, so no, we haven't determined a limit. I don't think we plan to determine a limit. But what I would say is that if there are a lot of children that you are identifying that need support, put in a general request to the warm line that says, I have a whole group that needs support. Like, make that request on behalf of the whole group instead of all the individuals. And then we can approach it that way together in a way to support you with all of them.
Thank you. Is there a way for providers to see if a specific family has been excused from other facilities?
No, there won't be a way to do that. I mean, our goal is for families to not be excused from programs, to be maintained in programs. So if you hear that a family has been excused from a program, we hope that you'll reach out and let us know. But for confidentiality reasons, there's family confidentiality. We aren't going to be able to share that information.
Thank you. And will there be a public list of resources and supports provided to providers, something for them to reference?
Yeah, good question. We are, yes, we're working on adding more information to our website, and know that some of the resources are still being developed. So keep checking back over time. But there we will find multiple ways to share information, both through the DELC website, but also through CCR&Rs, through the registry, as many places as we can.
Okay, thank you. Katrina, I think that's all that we have time for tonight. If you have an opportunity or a time to check in the QA for the remaining ones, that'd be great.
Okay.
It looks like we can proceed to our next topic. Thank you so much for Katrina.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Katrina, for all of that information. I know there is a lot of great questions, and thank you, Ronnie, for helping us facilitate those as well. As we shared, we've been sharing some links in the chat, both here on Zoom and on Facebook. I've been tracking Facebook for questions and haven't seen any come through. Just another reminder for folks who might be listening there. So we'll go ahead and jump onto the childcare infrastructure. We're going to actually have several program updates here, and I'll try to keep my pace as we move forward. But this really important one, I know we had some team members join us the last session to provide information about the Childcare Infrastructure Fund. So just want to put out this reminder that the applications are now open and are due no later than 4:59 p.m. on September 30th, 2024. You'll find we'll go ahead and share the link here, but you can also find these slides on our website once we share these. And these light blue light blue text are links to the different items which you can find on our website once more. For this, our colleagues just wanted to make sure that we encourage you all to read through Business Oregon's application. So this application is open through Business Oregon, especially the request for grant application, the RFA, and the program guidelines, as these documents outline exactly what requirements you need to meet to be held in order to be awarded funding. And it may also be important to note that if awarded funding, awardees will enter into a grant agreement with Business Oregon. So it's different expectations, based on the grant. And again, these are through Business Oregon. You can find more information on our website and the Business Oregon. And then this next slide gives a little information about the technical assistance provided. So we do ask and encourage you to please reach out to technical assistant providers directly have questions. We won't be taking questions specifically about the Child Care Infrastructure Fund tonight because we have some restrictions as the application is open, of course, but other than that, because we have two great sources for technical assistance, you have their contact information here, and they're also providing technical assistance in different languages. So they will be able to answer questions around Oregon's application, the support materials, and walk through the program guidelines and project checklist as needed. I have just put that into the chat here, so if you need it, please review. Next slide. So this is on a different topic. We have the Oregon Child Care Sustainability Survey, which is being run by First Children's Finance as well. They're a great partner with us in many different things. So First Children's Finance is launching a crucial survey to better understand the health and needs of Oregon's child care businesses. And your insights will play a vital role into shaping your programs and initiatives to support child care business across the state. Starting September 11th, so a few days ago, you should have received an email, or it might still be on its way, an email with a link to the survey. We do ask and encourage you to complete it. Take a few minutes to do so. Share your experiences, the challenges and opportunities related to the workforce, facilities, funding, and anything else that comes to your mind. That feedback is really important to us. By participating, you help us identify areas where additional support is needed and informed of the different programs and initiatives to serve childcare providers effectively. An incentive here is that the first 100 verified and completed surveys will receive a gift card, so you may still be on your way to receiving that. And First Children's Finance will share the anonymized survey results with survey participants, with DELC, and with different state partners. So again, your name and information will not be shared, but the shared experiences and feedback will be shared with different partners. And if you have questions about this, we'll go ahead and drop this into the chat as well. There's some information and contact there for the survey, so please fill it out. Next one here. And for this is just kind of an update. I know we've talked before about the family child care rule revision. We had some of our partners from the CCLD team join and they just wanted to make sure that we provided this visual update of where things are with this rule update. So the rulemaking advisory committee is meeting from September to October. So this is right where we are. There's been a lot of engagement. There's been listening sessions. There's been an online feedback form, presentations to the Early Learning Council. But right now, the Rule Advisory Committee is in session, and at this month's Early Learning Council meeting, which is coming up next week, I believe, there will be an informational update presented around the proposed rule content. And then you'll see here again, the proposed effective date for these rule changes is July 1st, 2020. All right, almost there. I know there's a lot of information. The provider management platform, we've shared a little before as well around an updated provider management platform, really trying to consolidate some of our avenues for communication. So Delegate is designing a new online provider management platform that will integrate the child care licensing division, licensing, and the employment-related daycare program into one system. While we're still designing this new online provider management platform, we want to make sure to hear from those from you and what would be helpful for users to manage and have access to, and as you navigate your DC and licensing in this new online system. And so there are a couple engagement sessions scheduled. You'll see the dates and who they're specifically for. The link is now in the chat, but you can register at this link. We'll also have the slides available again, so you can find these. And we invite you to join us and share your perspective of some of the gaps and opportunities and some of the needs that we might be able to integrate into this platform. We won't be able to do it all at once, but understanding what the high needs are will help us prioritize what changes we can make and implement first. And the CCLD inspection feedback form, just wanted to throw this as a reminder that this is super helpful for us to improve our processes and training. And this inspection feedback form is available on our website. It's for providers. This gives you how to find us. So you go to provider tab, provider resources, and then the child care licensing division. So again, this is to provide a general feedback. We ask that no specific names be used in this form, as it's generally for feedback. We have other avenues for complaints if that is the avenue that you might need. But if you have a concern about specific CCLD staff, we do ask that you contact your local regional manager or the customer service line. You have those phone numbers here. But overall, this is really to gather your feedback about how our services are working and how our services can be better in our customer service. So we really appreciate everyone taking the time to complete it, to provide some feedback, and we just invite you to continue doing so. It's really helpful for us to make sure that we keep improving. And lastly, this is just a reminder. I know there's been some talk about this, and some folks, we've heard of many folks who have completed this, but in order to recognize childcare providers across Oregon, the legislature allocated an annual $500 payment to eligible childcare providers in 2024 and 2025. So you can find this information on your Oro account, and you'll see here the eligibility guidelines. We do invite those who are eligible to apply. You can find that information again on your Oro. I've heard it's pretty accessible. If you might need contact or additional support, you have the email on screen, and then there's also a website for more information. And then this next slide breaks down a little bit the eligibility a bit more. So those working for at least 90 days at 10 hours a week in a given calendar year, currently working in a licensed Oregon child care facility or license exempt or recorded program, or as a family friend and neighbor care receiving ERD and have an Oro account. So these are the eligibility guidelines for this $500 payment. If you're eligible, please do take the couple minutes to complete this quick application and receive your payment. It is well deserved. That completes the information we have for today. I wanted to just circle back, Ronnie, were there any questions that came up that we might need to touch on in the next 2 minutes or so?
There was one. Thank you, Karina. They wanted to know in the first children's excuse me, can you hear me?
See, go ahead, sorry.
Okay, and the first children's finance slide, when you were talking about the survey, the sustainability survey, they wanted to know, are those surveys just for business owners?
That is my understanding, but we can get better clarity on that as it is intended to understand the Oregon's child care business side of it. If you are the owner of an in-home child care, for example, you would be eligible, yeah, applicable to apply. Sorry, complete this.
Okay, do you have to own a business to apply for the grants as well?
I am interpreting that as being around the Child Care Infrastructure Fund, and there are some eligibility guidelines. Being a business owner, might be one of them. We do invite you to once more go visit their website. I can't see all the technicalities and I don't want to be confusing. So I've just sent that link over directly to you. You can open the program guidelines and it'll give you all of the information that you need. Again, if you have questions specifically about the Child Care Infrastructure Fund, we do ask that you reach out to Northwest Native Chamber and First Children's Finance. They will have the resources and just opportunities to answer your questions. I know it can be hard to join us and not answer, but we also just want to make sure that you have the right avenues and that you have the correct information.
And Karina, there's a question in the Q&A in Spanish. Would you be able to assist there?
Yes, I see the question. So it's in regards to the application process again, about how it can be, and sometimes I feel I am actually need more clinical support. And can somebody help? Marisela, I see your question. I will go ahead and send that link to you as well. These resources will have the information in English and Spanish. They'll be able to support you in other languages as well. So if you have friends and colleagues who might be interested in these grant opportunities, to First Children's Finance and Northwest Native Chamber, they will be able to support you.
Hey, Karina, the Q&A empty.
Thank you so much, Ronnie. Thank you, everyone. I know that was a lot of information. We will go ahead and post it on our website. So you have, and you'll have the recordings there as well in case you want to go back and listen to them. We'll have the English and Spanish recording available on our website for you to access and share. Thank you so much for your time. We look forward to joining you again in November, it should be. So thanks for all the work you do, and thanks for sharing some of your time this evening after long days and long work. We really, really do appreciate it.
Thank you.